Can you explain moral relativism simply? Have you ever wondered why people have such different views on what is right and wrong? This brings us to the concept of moral relativism. Moral relativism is a way of thinking about ethics and morals that suggests there are no universal rules for right and wrong. Instead, what is seen as good or bad can vary based on who you ask, where you live, or what culture you belong to. This idea stands in contrast to moral absolutism, which holds that certain actions are always right or always wrong, regardless of the situation. To break it down further, there are a few key aspects of moral relativism. First, we have descriptive moral relativism. This simply points out that people and cultures have different moral beliefs. It does not judge these differences, it merely states that they exist. For instance, some cultures might find certain behaviors acceptable while others do not. Next, we have metaethical moral relativism. This takes the idea a step further by claiming that moral judgments do not have objective truth outside of their context. In other words, what is right in one culture might be wrong in another, and neither is necessarily more correct. This perspective emphasizes that right and wrong are shaped by the beliefs and practices of each society. Lastly, there is normative moral relativism. This suggests that people should accept and tolerate the moral beliefs of others, especially when those beliefs differ from their own. It argues that since there are no universal moral rules, it is unfair to judge others based on a different set of standards. In everyday conversations, you might hear phrases like, "Who am I to judge?" or "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." These sayings reflected the idea that moral standards are not fixed and should be understood within their own context. However, not everyone agrees with moral relativism. Some philosophers argue that certain actions should always be considered wrong, regardless of cultural context. From the viewpoint of ethics and morals, moral relativism encourages open-mindedness and respect for diversity. It helps people understand why others might behave differently or hold different values. Yet, it also raises questions about how to handle serious moral disagreements, especially when actions in one culture may seem harmful or unjust from another perspective. Practical applications of moral relativism can be seen in discussions about cultural practices, international law, and personal tolerance. For example, debates about whether certain traditions are acceptable often involve moral relativism. Understanding this concept can assist individuals in navigating complex ethical situations where different values and beliefs come into play.